The Game Changers is a 2018 documentary film directed by Louis Verhulst and executively produced by celebrity names such as James Cameron and Arnold Schwarzenegger. It delves into the potential health benefits of a plant-based diet, including better athletic performance, improved blood flow, reduced inflammation, and enhanced immune and sexual function. We follow former UFC fighter James Wilks on a personal journey to find out the truth about plant-based eating, as he features some of the world's elite plant-based athletes, as well as interviews from medical doctors and scientists along the way. From a cinematography standpoint, I have to admit that The Game Changers is one of the best nutrition documentaries I have seen to date. It really does a great job at driving home the message that we've become way too reliant on getting most of our protein from animal sources. I also like the fact that it debunks these long-standing stereotypes of the big meat-eating bodybuilder and the weak skinny vegan. It's 100% true that on a vegan diet you can still get enough protein from other food sources. While The Game Changers raises some very valid points, it still has its issues from a science-based standpoint. So here are some of the points that they do get right and some of which they get wrong in the documentary. Number 1, plant foods contain more antioxidants than animal foods. This obviously is a fact. Fruits and vegetables contain the most and in much higher quantities than what we find in animal products. Number 2, soy products do not increase estrogen levels. Soy has long been demonized for giving us men boobies.
What?
But the documentary actually gets it right that it does not increase their estrogen levels and has its health benefits. Tofu and soy milk, for example, are a real plus for any vegetarian or vegan, offering ample amounts of protein as well as calcium. Number 3, processed carbs like white flour and sugar can lead to weight gain, while unprocessed carbs like oats, banana, and sweet potatoes are associated with decreased body fat. This is true, and processed carbohydrates are lower in calories and high in fiber. Therefore, they prevent sudden spikes in our blood sugar levels. And obviously, the higher your blood sugar is, the more that will be converted into fat. Carbs are also important for building muscle because they are our primary energy source, and when your muscles are depleted after a workout, they help to increase muscle recovery. As for the things that they get wrong, number 1, protein doesn't sustain your energy. While it's not a primary energy source, protein is still one of our 3 energy nutrients, meaning that we need it in relatively large amounts to support normal function and health. While it does take a longer time to break down in the body, protein serves as a usable source of energy when you're not eating enough carbohydrates and fats. Number 2, every single plant contains all the essential amino acids in varying proportions. This is a very misleading point. While plant foods contain all the essential amino acids, most are limited in one or more of them, therefore they do not form a complete protein. For example, almonds are low in lysine and methionine. When you combine them with chickpeas in a spinach salad, you will get sufficient amounts of these amino acids to form a complete protein. You don't necessarily need to combine these foods at each meal, but you generally want to be spreading a variety of whole grains, legumes, vegetables, and nuts and seeds throughout the day to get the complete protein you need. So the source isn't irrelevant at all. Number 3, animal foods impair blood flow and increase inflammation. If you guys have seen my other video on saturated fats, you'll know that observational studies may offer an association, but rarely a cause and effect relationship between 2 variables, because there are so many other factors at play that can affect the results. In the film, 2 such variables are animal fat and heart health. In an experiment, Dr. Robert Vogel compares blood samples of 3 NFL athletes after they've eaten either a beef or chicken burrito to after they've eaten a bean burrito. It was later revealed that eating the plant-based burrito resulted in better blood flow. But the pilot study that they did was not a controlled experiment. There were so many other factors that could have affected their blood flow, including their amount of sleep, exercise, hydration, stress levels, and even genetics. And what gets me more than anything is take a look at what the burritos were wrapped in, a wheat tortilla. Now this will raise your blood pressure more than anything in that meal. James Wilks also goes on to cite a study where a single burger increases inflammation by 70%. But nowhere in the documentary does he explicitly state the burger's contents. Was it in a whole grain or white bun? Did it have any lettuce or tomatoes? If you're not looking at the meal and more importantly the diet as a whole, then what you're making is nothing more than a sweeping statement. Guys, this documentary is a flawed film. Its conclusions are inconsistent and backed by little scientific evidence. They constantly switch between a plant-based diet and a strictly vegan diet. And this can be very confusing to viewers. Plant-based means that you're eating mostly plants, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're a vegan. As for the experiments, these were not scientifically significant, and key pieces of research were misrepresented to suit their bias. By the end of the film, it was clear that the agenda that they were pushing here is that any amount of animal protein is bad for you. Now, I agree that processed meats are unhealthy and that livestock production does place a heavy burden on the global environment, but you cannot walk away from this documentary with an all-or-nothing mentality. As a certified nutritionist, what I generally recommend to people is to follow an eating plan that is very much aligned with the Mediterranean diet. Now again, this is a diet that is mostly plant-based, but it does include fish, chicken, and red meat in moderation. The key takeaway to remember here though is that when it comes to nutrition, it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. Take my clients for example. I like to assess them on an individual level because one diet may be suitable for one person and not the other. The vegan diet especially requires more effort because if you're going to do it, you have to approach it in a very balanced and realistic way. Otherwise, you're going to be doing some serious harm to your body, between developing a vitamin B12 or iron deficiency, which can cause anemia, or even a vitamin D or calcium deficiency. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you liked the review. If you want to see more, you can click the subscribe button down below and hit the button for notifications anytime I upload a video. Keep on staying safe and healthy, and I'll see you guys later.